What document should car buyers never sign at a dealership? Hello everyone, Kevin Hunter here. I've been known as the Homework Guy for 15 straight years here on this platform and have earned the reputation for being the most trusted voice when it comes to car buying advice. Here at the Homework Guy Show, we've earned our trustworthy reputation by providing well-researched content, by avoiding all the clickbait nonsense very common to a couple of other well-known fake news content creators. I think you know who. In today's show, all of us should be aware that buying a car is already a stressful enough process, right? But what if I told you that the real game begins after you agree on the price of the vehicle? That's right. The finance office, is also known as the F&I office, is where dealers play their dirtiest tricks. Some of those dirty tricks include signatures on documents that you should never sign. For that reason, we're going to walk you through the documents you absolutely should not sign at a dealership and why dealers push this unnecessary paperwork on you in the first place. If you think you don't have the courage to stand up to dealers who might try to force you to sign something you absolutely should not, consider hiring one of our car coaches from our Hasslefree car buying service. It's the best there is, and the details are on our website, thehomeworkguy.com. Stick around now as the amazing Elizabeth joins me to discuss how knowing this information can save you thousands of dollars and prevent you from signing papers that surrender your legal rights.
So why do dealers ask for signatures on unnecessary forms in the first place?
Yes. Why do dealerships shove unnecessary paperwork in front of you?
The short answer? It's all about money. Car dealerships use every means possible to extract more cash from you, manipulate your financing, or protect themselves from legal trouble if they do something unethical to rip you off. If you're not careful, you could end up paying for add-ons you didn't agree to, giving up your right to sue them afterward. You can get stuck in a bad financing deal, and you might be signing away valuable consumer protections. Now that you know why they do it, let's talk about what not to sign when buying a car.
The document at number one is such a big deal, it deserves to be mentioned twice, so I'm going to. It's also kind of hidden, tucked away on the document, so you'd think it's safe to sign. I'm talking about, at number one, the arbitration agreement. Don't sign away your rights. The arbitration agreement is first on the list because it's a very huge deal, and more dealers are pulling this stunt. Why? Because when they get sued, they almost always lose the lawsuit, and they lose big.
And
the arbitration agreement might be tucked away deep in the paperwork, often disguised under legal jargon. It might just be a paragraph that sits by itself, but will usually have the title Arbitration Clause. This document waives your right to sue the dealership or join in a class action lawsuit against the dealership. Instead, you're forced into arbitration where decisions and the arbiter almost always favor the dealer. Here's why dealers want this. It prevents lawsuits against them if and when they rip you off, which they usually do.
Right.
Forces you to fight disputes through their hand-picked arbitrators who are often totally biased towards the dealership. Keeps bad business practices out of the public courts in their area. So here's why you should decline. You have no obligation to sign this document. Cross it out and refuse to sign. If they say it's mandatory, call their bluff. Dealers cannot ever legally force you to agree to arbitration. Arbitration can never be mandatory. That's like them saying, we're going to give you reason to want to sue us, and we don't want you to go that route. Here's an example of what a common arbitration clause might read. You need to read along with me because you're going to need to recognize it if you see it on your car contract. It usually reads, any claim, dispute, or controversy arising out of or relating to the purchase, lease, financing, or condition of the vehicle described in this agreement, including but not limited to claims arising under state or federal consumer protection laws. You see that? They're going after the laws here, too. Shall be resolved by binding arbitration. The arbitration shall be conducted in accordance with the rules of the arbitration provider that they picked out and shall take place in their city and state. By signing this agreement, you waive your right to bring any claim in a court of law, including the right to a jury trial or participation in a class action lawsuit. The arbitrator's decision shall be final and binding, and judgment upon the reward rendered may be entered in any court having jurisdiction. You acknowledge that arbitration is a faster and less costly alternative to litigation, and that by agreeing to this provision, you are knowingly waiving your legal rights to pursue a court remedy. Never do this.
You know what's a faster and less costly alternative? Shop somewhere else.
Yeah.
At number 2 of the documents that you shouldn't sign is the additional add-ons agreement. because you didn't want to agree, right? These are extra expenses that you didn't approve of. This is one of the dirtiest tricks in the book. Here's what it is. It's a document that sneaks in expensive, unnecessary extras and pretends that you agreed to them. Things like extended warranties, paint protection, VIN etching, gap insurance, prepaid maintenance plans, and the like. Here's why dealers want it. These add-ons have huge profit margins, sometimes 500% or more. They inflate your loan amount, meaning more interest for them and their bankers, and most buyers don't even realize they signed up for these. Here's why you should decline. If you didn't ask for it, don't pay for it. Refuse to sign anything that adds extra cost. And a pro tip, if they say it's already applied to the car, demand it be removed or refuse the entire deal. You have the right to decline dealer add-ons.
And by the way, if they put add-ons on your vehicle you didn't want, and they say they can't come off, you should say, well, I want that amount deducted from the price of my vehicle because you damaged my car.
Sure.
All right, sitting at number 3, the We Owe form, a one-way street to nowhere. Here's what this is. This document states that the dealer owes you nothing after you leave, even if they made verbal promises to fix something or include extras. Here's why dealers want this. It eliminates their obligation to fulfill any promises that might have been made during the negotiation process. If they owe you a repair, a second key, floor mats, or anything else, signing this means they can completely ignore it, and they most definitely will ignore it. Mm-hmm. Many buyers don't realize what they've signed until it's too late. Here's why you should decline. Never sign this if the dealer still owes you anything. A pro tip, instead, get a written due bill, which is totally different, that clearly states what the dealer still owes you, and have them sign it.
Sitting at number 4 is a well-used financing trick known as the spot delivery agreement. It's a scam to change your loan terms later. Here's what it is. It's a temporary financing agreement that allows you to take the car home before financing is officially approved. The dealer calls later to say, your loan didn't go through, and you need to come back and re-sign at a higher rate.
Which is bullshit.
It's totally bullshit. Here's why dealers want it. It locks you emotionally into the car because you took it home, right? It forces you to agree to worse loan terms later, a trick that we call yo-yo financing. And if you refuse to sign the new terms, they threaten to repo the car and keep your down payment. Here's why you should decline. Never take a car home until the financing is 100% final and you're holding the papers in your hands. Here's a pro tip. If a dealer pulls this stunt, return the car immediately and just walk away.
Another financing-related trick document sitting at number 5, known as the credit application authorization, even if you're paying cash. Here's what it is. A document that gives the dealer permission to run a credit check on you, even if you're paying full in cash. So why the heck would dealers want this for a cash buyer? They sell your personal data to lenders, insurance companies, and marketing firms. Some will fake financing numbers to earn kickbacks from banks. If they run multiple credit checks, it can lower your credit score unnecessarily. This is why you should decline. If you're paying cash, they don't need to run your credit info, period. A pro tip right here, cross out any credit check language and write paying cash, no authorization given before signing.
So some final thoughts. Never sign anything blindly. At least pull your phone out, do a search. Do I have to sign this document? Dealers rely on pressure, confusion, and intimidation to get you to sign whatever they put in front of you. But now you know the key documents to decline and why dealers push unnecessary signatures in front of you in the first place. So let's recap. You need to decline arbitration agreements. That keeps your right to sue. You need to reject dealer add-ons. If you didn't ask for it, don't pay for it. You need to avoid the we owe scam. Get written proof if anything is promised. And say no to spot delivery traps. Wait for the final loan approval first. And lastly, protect your credit. Don't authorize credit checks unless they're absolutely necessary. If a dealer pressures you, walk away. The best tool you have is your ability to say no. If you don't think you can do either thing very well, or you just want to avoid the headache altogether, hire us to do the totally hassle-free route. The details are on our website, thehomeworkguy.com, and our coaches stick with you through the finance office to make sure these things don't happen to you.
Questions you do not answer at a car dealership. Welcome back, Homework Guy fans. Today we're talking about some of the sneakiest questions a car dealer will throw at you when you walk into that showroom. They are designed to throw you off, but trust me, answering these questions wrong or answering them at all can cost you thousands on your next car deal. I'll give you some possible responses as we go along, but honestly, it might just be best to keep your mouth shut. Hi, I'm Kevin Hunter, the Homework Guy, and I'm here to make sure that you don't get ripped off when buying your next car. What seems like harmless information gathering questions sets the groundwork for taking serious advantage of you. So buckle up, and with the help of the amazing Elizabeth, let's dive into the 7 questions you should never answer when buying a car. Liz?
Well, let's start with the question that seems the least threatening, but it can still majorly throw you off. Question number 1. What's your color preference?
Hot button right there.
If you want a specific color vehicle, let's say a white one, a salesman will push you hard towards the white one, even if it's the wrong trim level or priced well outside your budget. If you give the salesman what's known as a hot button early in the process, they are guaranteed to keep pushing it time and time again.
Over and over again. Better than answering the color question, we recommend that you deflect by saying, let's see what you have and we'll go from there. Now let's say a white car was exactly what you wanted and they happen to have a white vehicle. You say, I'm not super thrilled with white, but I could live with it. There's a reason you don't want to disclose your hot button issue. It has been a long-held belief that if the dealer has a car you really want, you think you absolutely must have, they don't have to discount it to sell it to you. You start salivating and you'll pay almost any price to get exactly what you want. You'd have to agree that's reasonably true.
Question number 2. Are you ready to buy today? This question is pure pressure tactics, friends, and the worst dealers like to ask this. What they're really saying is, how desperate are you? Because if you say yes, they know they can rush you into a decision, get you to sign on the dotted line, and send you on your way before you've had a chance to do all your homework.
If you've ever been asked this question, you say, I'm exploring my options, or I'm taking my time to make sure I get the right deal. You can also add, I'm looking for a dealer who wants to earn my business.
That's a good one.
Dealers hate answers like this because they know they've got to work for your business. They've got to convince you that they're giving you the best possible deal. Don't ever let anyone rush you into a decision. If they push, just say, I'm willing to walk away today if we can't make this work. Trust me, once they know you're ready to walk, you'll see how fast a better deal starts getting put together.
Question number 3. Have you shopped around or gotten other quotes? By asking this, dealers are trying to understand how much you know about the current market. If you haven't done your research, they see an opportunity to keep their prices high. If you have, they might try to discredit other dealers or pressure you into making a hasty decision by questioning the legitimacy of those other quotes that you have.
They also jump on a yes answer to this by saying, and now you're here, so obviously those other deals weren't so good. At a deal like this, when you're out to take a test drive, you can expect to get asked trial closing questions like, can you see yourself driving this car home today?
Yep.
It's a trial closing question that salesmen are trained to ask you. This involves getting you to visualize yourself owning the car you're driving and getting some emotional attachment started.
Question number 4. What's your monthly payment goal? Now, let me tell you, this is the mother of all evil car dealer questions, and it's designed to trick you right from the start. They're not asking because they care about your financial well-being.
Not at all.
That's right. It's about squeezing the biggest possible profit number out of you, friends.
So what happens if you answer this question? You say, well, I can afford $500 a month, and boom, you've just given them all the power they need. Suddenly, they've got several ways to manipulate the deal to hit at or above that $500 monthly payment goal, and often that's exactly what they do is hit high on it. Extend the loan term, raise the interest rate, throw in hidden fees, whatever it takes. You might think you're getting a great deal, but that $500 a month payment goal could end up costing you $8,000 or more over the life of the loan.
Here's a quick example of what Kevin said. Let's say you're looking at a $30,000 car. Over 60 months, you're looking at a higher monthly payment, but what if they extend that term to 84 months to hit your target payment goal? Boom, that's over 7 years of payments with tons of additional interest. Suddenly, you've overpaid, and that affordable car isn't so affordable anymore.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
Our advice, don't ever talk about monthly payments. Always talk about the total price of the car first. If you do indeed have a monthly payment goal, run that goal through a car payment calculator online with the loan term and the interest rate you're expecting, and always boil that down to an OTD out the door price. Whether you do this from the comfort of home, as you should, or you do it while you're at the dealership like some of you like to do, always work off a pre-calculated OTD price. If you get asked the question, what's your monthly payment goal? Answer by saying, I'm more interested in a total OTD price.
Question number 5. Do you have a trade-in? This question comes earlier and earlier in car negotiations these days. Here's where the trade conversation often goes. Do you still owe money on your trade-in? And what's your current monthly payment? You revealing your monthly payment here tells them what they should shoot for or even exceed with your new car. It was the car shortage during the pandemic that pushed this extra interest into trades, but still today, the technique of asking about it early still lingers. Now you might be thinking, well, it's good to get it all out in the open right away, right?
Wrong.
Yeah, discussing the trade-in too soon is like giving them free money, friends.
It's very easy to understand why dealers use the trade-in question. When you let them know about your trade-in right away, they're going to immediately bundle it into the overall deal, overwhelm you with the information, and suddenly you're juggling two numbers, the price of the new car and the value of your trade-in. And guess what? You get lost in the shuffle and kind of forget to keep your eye on the price of the car you're buying because they are busy lowballing you on your trade. It's a simple strategy. Their long-held experience shows that it's easy to hide the real numbers when you mix them together. You get information overload, you get tired and worn out, and then you say yes to a very stupid deal.
Serious homework guy tip here. Negotiate one thing at a time. Lock in the price of the new car first, get it in writing on paper in front of you, and then ask them, by the way, what's your offer on my trade? Take the paper for the car you're buying off the table, put it in your pocket, and make them write their trade offer on a fresh sheet of paper.
That really screws them up.
Yeah.
Now you've got control. The information is out in the open, and you can clearly see if you're getting a fair deal on both ends. If they start lowballing you, you can always take your trade-in elsewhere to get a better value.
Yes.
And before you get this far in the process anyway, where you're asking them what they'll offer you for your trade, have a trade-in offer from a place like CarMax or Carvana and know what someone else would give you. Have that in writing with you.
Question number 6. How are you planning to pay? This one's really sneaky. The dealer will ask, how do you plan to pay for this car? Cash, finance, or lease? And this question is loaded, my friends, because the second you tell them how you're paying, they start recalculating how they can make the most money on this deal.
If you say cash right here, they might try to steer you away from it because they make a lot more money off a financed deal. If you say finance, they'll start working you over with interest rates and add-ons. And if you say lease, well, let's just say leasing is another can of worms we'll tackle on another day.
Yeah.
What should you say here? Simple. I'm keeping my options open. If we can agree on a price I'm willing to pay, I'll be interested in what your finance office has to offer at the time. Even if you're paying cash, if they had 0% financing, wouldn't you be interested? Sure you would.
Right.
Don't let them pressure you, push you around. Negotiate the car price first. Then once you're satisfied with that number, you can start discussing payment options, and that's when you'll have the upper hand.
Question number 7. What kind of down payment are you thinking? Number 6 was all about how you plan to pay. This question is about how much down payment. How much are you planning to put down? Seems innocent, but it lets the finance office know how much additional junk they can pack into your car loan.
No doubt. It sounds like a totally normal question, right? But think about it. They're digging for details to see how much they can get from you on the back end. And the back end I'm talking about is in the finance office.
You know, Kevin, it's like, how much junk can they fit in your trunk?
Exactly.
Now, a down payment can be a great way to lower your monthly payment and reduce your interest, but this is a big but here. If you tell them how much you have saved up, you're giving away leverage. They might push you toward putting more down than necessary or using that number to make the financing look more attractive, even if it doesn't actually save you money in the long run.
So there you have it, Homework Guy fans, the 7 questions you should never answer when buying a car. Remember, the more information they have, the more they can use it against you. Keeping it simple, negotiating one thing at a time, and always be ready to walk away if the deal isn't right. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more car buying tips to keep you ahead of the game. Leave a comment down below if you've run into these questions at a dealership, and share with us how you handled it.
I'll close with a hassle-free car buying update. As we have stated in previous shows, our hassle-free car buying service is the only car buying service that saves you the hassle of going it alone with a dealer finance officer. We never turn you loose on a finance man. Never. Also, when you hire us, either Kevin or I will personally take every call. You get to talk directly to us, and we are the only show hosts on YouTube that offer this kind of personalized service.
That's right. What's really different about our car buying service compared to others is that we are the only truly customer-focused service provider you can find. Warning, watch out for car dealers using iPads to rip you off. Welcome back to the most trusted channel for car buying advice over the last 15 years, The Homework Guy Show. I'm Kevin Hunter, and today we're exposing another sneaky trick dealerships use to drain your wallet. You walk in, you negotiate, you think you're getting a fair deal, and then they hand you the iPad in finance office. Sounds convenient, right? Wrong. That little screen might be the biggest scam in the finance office today. We've received multiple complaints from car buyers about getting tricked into things they never agreed to. So buckle up, folks, because we're about to expose how dealerships are using iPads to fleece you and what you can do to stop them. The amazing Elizabeth joins me now.
All right, let's talk about how dealers are pulling off this iPad scam. It might surprise you to learn that it's been going on for a while now. In most dealerships, gone are the days when paper contracts were placed on the desk where you could clearly see what you were signing. Now with electronic signing, they flash a screen up in front of you and say, just tap here, here, and here. And before you know it, boom, you've just agreed to a bunch of garbage you never even discussed. Common add-ons being slipped in include extended warranties. Oh, you said no? Too bad. Now you got it. Gap insurance? You paid cash? Doesn't matter. They added it anyway. Service plans? Because why not pay extra for oil changes you never wanted? And additional fees, mystery charges with fancy names, like Dealer Assurance Package or Platinum Protection Plan. If you're not sure this happens, read what our viewer AZ Pat, who wrote on our channel, this just happened to us at the Wright Honda in Scottsdale, Arizona. Apparently, this is their MO based on Better Business Bureau complaints. Instead of tying it to an extended warranty, they tied it to a $1,995 security system. The numbers listed on the Big Desk iPad are not the numbers listed on the docs we received on a thumb drive. The finance guy didn't even tell us he was adding anything. He said he was able to buy down our rate through their Safe and Secure package. We found out after the fact. He ended up adding $5,500 to our contract in total, along with changing the sales price of the car. In addition, he told us we were financed through our credit union, but financed through another lender. I questioned this, and he said he must have made a mistake and he'll fix it. He didn't. We are not financed through our credit union. He also lied about gap insurance too. We are currently working with them to get a refund, but we'll see. When I confronted our finance guy, he yelled at me and basically told me I was stupid and he was doing me a favor.
Right.
I absolutely wouldn't step foot in this dealership ever again. By the way, we are from California and this practice is completely illegal there, so we've never dealt with it. We didn't even know it was a thing until it happened to us in Arizona.
The worst part of it all, you don't even realize this has happened until after you've signed, like AZ Pat just said. By the time you get your copy of the contract, even if you get one, it's already too late. At the end of today's show, you're going to hear a phone conversation with Myra Jones out of Georgia, and she explains what a dealer just did to her on a Nissan Maxima. When this stuff happens, the dealer just shrugs and says, well, you signed for it. Now it's time for the iPad scam in action. Let me paint you a picture. You're in the finance office exhausted after hours of haggling, or maybe you're sick and a bit under the weather like Myra was. The finance guy, let's call him Shady Steve, hands you an iPad and rushes you through the process. He's all smiles, saying, oh, it's just standard stuff. Tap here, here, and here. But he's swiping screens so fast you barely get a chance to read anything.
If you're not sure just how careful you have to be here, listen again to this comment made recently on our Do Not Sign video posted by a car salesman. LA Commander says, you are absolutely right. The real scam is at the F&I office. I worked as a salesman at a new car dealership for a couple of months while in college. It amazed me how management would intervene in a sale I was making, sell the car for invoice price or just slightly above, ruining any sales commission I had coming. Then later, I would see how much crap they sold the customer back in the F&I office. They would sell an extended warranty, paint protection, gap insurance, an alarm system, underbody coating, Scotch Guard, low jack, literally tons of items that those in the back office would get a huge commission from. Meanwhile, I as a salesman would get the minimum $50 for the sale of the car after spending hours with the customer doing all the footwork of selecting the car, the test drive, explaining all the features of the car, etc. The customer would be exhausted by the time they got back to the F&I office and would let their guard down. That's when management would strike. Not only would the customer get screwed, so did I. I can totally see why so many salesmen quit the business.
There you go, friends. So dealers don't just steal from their customers, they steal from their own employees too.
That's right. Some red flags to watch for. They won't let you scroll or review the contract yourself. They rush you through signing without explaining the details. You ask for a printed contract and they refuse or delay doing it. The numbers don't add up when you check your final agreement. And might I add, if they're smiling, they're probably winning and you're losing.
Exactly. We have some exceptional people come to our channel. This next person is a retired judge. Listen to what Moody Blues has to say on our video, Don't Sign. Excellent information, he writes. I'm a retired judge, and I remember when people signed contracts that they didn't read or understand and were burned later by some sneaky provision they ignored or didn't understand. If it is sneaky enough, judges can refuse to enforce certain provisions. I used to ask people if they read the contract that was burning them, and they always said no. You need to be sure of what you are agreeing to, as it may bite you later. I have walked away from deals because of contract provisions that the other party refused to allow me to scratch out. For instance, when purchasing my present house in 2000, at closing there was a provision hidden in the mortgage agreement that said the mortgage company could inspect my house without notice whenever they wanted.
Wow.
That would have been a tremendous invasion of our privacy, and when they wouldn't remove it, I got up and left. In 1 hour, there was a new mortgage contract without the offending provision offered. A week later, I signed that one. You have more power than you realize. Don't be afraid to exercise it.
Amen, Judge. Great comment. Dealer finance guys are slick willies trained to make it seem like everything's just normal. They act casual, they move fast, and they talk a mile a minute to distract you from what's really happening. So let's talk about what can you do to protect yourself, Kevin.
All right, folks, you know the scam. Now here's how you fight back.
Some tips to protect yourself. Demand a printed copy before signing. If they say no, that's a red flag. Slow down and read everything. Take your time. If they try to rush you, that's another red flag. Ask for a breakdown of every charge. If they can't explain it clearly, that's a big, big red flag. Bring your own pen and paper. Write down the agreed upon price, fees, and financing terms before you sign. Refuse to sign on the iPad. If they can't provide a paper contract up front, right at the time you're sitting in the finance office, walk out. Now let's go to that phone conversation Kevin had with Myra Jones.
All right, Myra Jones from Georgia is on the phone with me. And Myra, you were at Greenway Nissan of Brunswick, Georgia. You and your husband attempted to buy yourself a 2023 Nissan Maxima. For the benefit of our audience, tell us what the sale price of this vehicle was.
$34,989 was the advertised price that day.
$34,989. So with 7% sales tax, we looked that up in Georgia, your out the door should have been just above 37, like 37,438 is what 7% sales tax takes that to, and maybe adding a few $100 for title and license for the vehicle. So you should have been well under $38,000 on an out the door price on this vehicle.
Right. We put down $15,000 cash.
So $15,000 cash down. So the dealership basically presented all of this to your husband, who was there at the dealership, and basically scanned everything through on an iPad electronically. If you don't mind sharing with our audience, how old is your husband?
My husband is 71, but he looks about 55.
71-year-old. They basically blow through all of this stuff on an iPad.
Yep.
And then at the end of all of this, you got involved and you asked for a printout on all of this stuff that he had just finished signing for. And what did they tell you about the printout?
They were out of printer paper. They handed me a flash drive with the information. And the guy said, "This is very important. Hold on to this." I looked at it, and I'm a retired registered nurse. I said, "Sir, I need paper documents hard copies."
Right, you needed hard copies, and there's a really big reason why they didn't want to give you hard copies, and they wanted you to just go at your convenience and look at what was on this flash drive. Our purpose for doing this show about the iPads is to talk to people about what kind of stuff happens when these dealers basically skim right through the car contract. You got your paperwork from the banker that you did the loan with, and what was the balance due on the car?
It was $35,000 and some change. By the time all said and done, before interest payment would accrue over 72 months, right around $50,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Take off the 15. So the amount that was on there was $35,000, and I just about fainted, and I'm pretty tough.
So they basically disappeared your down payment.
Yep. Woo! Helium balloon.
Again, this was Greenway Nissan from Brunswick, Georgia, and you've had an opportunity to do a little research on this dealership since this situation happened. What did you find, Myra?
Well, until I found you guys, Kevin and Elizabeth, the homework guys, I would not have known to do all of this. I felt absolutely like an idiot after I said, oh my word, what have I done? But we don't buy cars a lot, so this is not our area of expertise. So, yeah, I just found out that they've had, I won't say the number, quite a number of Better Business Bureau reports, numerous complaints on Yelp that the dealership tried to hide, and I ferreted them out. It is incredible what has taken place here. Some bad folks.
All right, so based on this experience, what advice do you have for people in our viewing audience who might encounter this same iPad phenomena at a car dealership?
First, I'd just say, give me some paper and a blue pen, and I'll sign just like I do other documents when I'm making a major purchase. And I don't want this electronic signature to count as valid on anything else. I want what's actually being paid for the car out the door. I want that in ink and on a piece of paper.
And what a poor excuse this dealer finance officer gave you, saying it's late in the day, our printer is out of paper.
Mm-hmm. I did not have my computer at the house, so I couldn't plug the flash drive in. I'd have gotten fired if I'd have done that at work at a hospital.
Yes, that's crazy. Where do you guys sit now with this car deal?
As of today or yesterday, email was sent to them stating what we were willing to pay reasonably with what we just described to you. The list price, 7% tax, and just a few things added on, less than 15 down. That would do it.
So this vehicle, at least that you're aware of, is a lease return, right?
I did a VIN search, yeah. And that's something I recommend. And recommend that you guys find Kevin and Elizabeth and do their videos and do your homework.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Myra, and we hope to help get this story out there for you.
I appreciate it so much. God bless you guys and all of you. Look them up, the homework guys. Thank you.
All right. God bless you, too. Thanks, Myra. If a dealer gets shady about any of this, your best move is simple. Get up and leave. There are plenty of honest dealerships out there who won't pull stunts like this.
The funny thing is that if you get too nosy about what the finance slimeball put on that iPad, you might get asked to leave. Like our viewer Corey McNamara discovered. He writes, I was signing my paperwork just the other day for a new car, and when I unselected the add-ons, the finance manager took the iPad from me and told me I can't do that. In the end, he and the finance director told me that if I didn't buy the extras, I couldn't buy the car. Then they told me to leave. Wow. The old illegal forced add-ons. Another law-breaking dealership. Hopefully, Corey did leave this dealer.
It sounds like he did. So there you have it, folks. Another day, another dealership scam exposed. Dealers love these iPads because they know it makes it easier to trick you. But now that you know the game, you won't fall for it again. Spread the word, warn your friends, and if you've experienced this scam firsthand, drop a comment down below and tell us your story. The iPad contract scam, part 2. When dealers say, we're out of printer paper. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're exposing yet another shady dealership scam that's been making the rounds. The infamous iPad contract trick. If you missed that recent video, see it here on this channel. Accompanying this scam by far is the dumbest excuse a dealer has ever come up with to hide the iPad scam they are attempting to pull on you. Hi, I'm Kevin Hunter, and for the past 16 years, I've been here on this platform helping car buyers just like you to learn how to beat dealer nonsense and dealer scams. Have you ever noticed that it's becoming more common that when you're finalizing your car contract in dealer finance, the finance officer hands you an iPad to sign out on instead of giving you a printed contract? Also, if you haven't already done so, go to our website, thehomeworkguy.com, and find our Ultimate Car Buyers Checklist. It's a free download to help all of you do-it-yourself car buyers out there. And then, on this iPad scam, when you ask for a paper copy, they hit you with the classic line, oh, we're out of paper right now. Don't worry about it. We'll email it to you later. The amazing Elizabeth joins me now as we examine this totally ludicrous scam and the even dumber excuse a dealer finance officer comes up with to hide the scam from you before you make the mistake of leaving the dealership with the car you just signed out on.
We're out of printer paper? Unbelievable.
Yeah, now what are they wipe their asses with?
No, right? Well, as unbelievable as it seems, this is exactly what's being reported to us by our fans. A viewer going by Red Dragon reports, I've had a dealer refuse to give me printed documents one time using the we're out of paper excuse. I asked, you're really going to let some paper that costs a penny per sheet kill this $50,000 deal? They went and found some paper.
It's a miracle. Perfect response, Red Dragon.
If this ever happens to you, major red flag. This is not an accident. This is a calculated scam to rip you off. And today, we're going to tell you exactly why they do it and what they're hiding and how you're going to fight back. And hey, we'll get to this in a moment, but we'd like to start telling our viewers that when it's time to show up at a dealership, make sure you have your laptop with you. If you can't get a printed copy out of the dealer finance office, you're going to want to sit down in a quiet place in the dealership and review that flash drive they hand you before you drive away with your new vehicle. Do your own contract review before you leave.
Don't leave the dealership until you've done this.
Correct. But before we dive in, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're always here to keep you one step ahead of the car dealership sharks. Let's get to it, Kevin.
Here's the scam. Hiding extra charges in the digital contract.
All right, so here's how this scam works. When a finance officer hands you an iPad to sign, they know that most people don't scroll through every page of the contract. They know you'll just tap accept like you're downloading a new phone app or something, and that's exactly what they want. Why? Because they've stuffed that electronic contract with extra junk fees, overpriced warranties, and sneaky little add-ons. We recently had a fan report that $8,000 worth of junk found its way into her car contract because of this iPad deception trick pulled by a finance officer. And when you ask for the printed copy to actually see what you're signing, that's when they pull the classic, "Oh, our printer is down," or "We're out of paper."
Bullshit.
Don't worry, we'll email it to you later.
Yeah, that's a big lie, and as I said, bullshit. They're stalling because they don't want you to review the contract before you sign it. If they send it later, it's too late. You've likely driven off the lot with the car, and unfortunately, you already agreed to thousands in extra charges.
That's a good point, Kevin. When you leave the dealership with the car, it's yours, and so are those charges.
All right, so what exactly are these shady dealers trying to slip past you? It's a laundry list of fees and useless, overpriced crap. Here's what they love to sneak into iPad contracts. Number one, bogus fees, protection packages, reconditioning fees, market adjustments. It's all nonsense. Number two, unnecessary add-ons, rust proofing, fabric protection, VIN etching, stuff you never agreed to. And thirdly, extended warranties. Dealers love slipping in a $3,000 warranty without you even asking about one. If you don't catch it, boom, it's in your loan. And number four, loan interest rate markups. They get you approved for 5%, but secretly charge you 7%. Then you end up signing for it, and the dealer pockets the difference. And once you've signed on that iPad, it's game over. You're locked in.
So here are 3 rules to protect yourself. All right, friends, here's how you get to stop these scammers in their tracks, and stop them you must. Rule number 1, refuse to sign until you get a paper contract. If they say, "We're out of paper," tell them, "Then I'm out of this deal. Print it or I walk." And suddenly, that's magic. The printer works or the paper is actually found. Rule number 2, insist on reading everything first. Take your time, don't be rushed. Read every charge line by line before signing. If they rush you, that's a sign they're hiding something. If you have a clue that they'll be asking you to sign out on an iPad and they'll hand you a flash drive afterwards, at least have a laptop with you so you can comb through it before you drive away from the dealer. And rule number 3, bring your own copy of the contract. Ask for the contract in PDF format before you arrive. Print it yourself and compare what is on it with what's on the iPad. Is anything different? Call them out right away.
To illustrate just how bad these dealers are, I wanted to share a comment from one of our fans who worked as a car salesman. Here's our viewer, Moody Blues, who says, "I dropped out of college for about 6 months and needed a job. I noticed that a Chrysler Plymouth dealership had an ad in the help wanted section that just never went away. I applied and was hired. I found out that this dealership's sales method was high-pressure, obnoxious sales. I was not that type of person, and on the second 12-hour shift, an elderly couple came in to check out the new cars. I went over and offered my assistance, which was politely turned down as they said they weren't in the market for a new car yet. So I politely stepped back, and the manager came to me and told me to sell them a car. I told him what they had told me, and he said I should go up to them and tell them that I would be fired if I didn't sell them a car. I was outraged, and I went to them and in a very loud voice in their crowded showroom told them that they should leave because the dealership was crooked. Well, that ended my 2-day car sales career. So I went back to college and eventually became a county judge in my home in Florida. Friends, if you ever take a dealer to court, that's a judge you want to end up in front of. you'll have a ruling against the dealer in 5 minutes.
Yep. Okay, a final warning and a call to action. This iPad trick is one of the dirtiest scams in the car dealership business. If a dealer won't print your contract, that's because they're trying to rip you off, plain and simple. So the next time a finance officer tells you, oh, we're out of printer paper, you should tell them,
then I guess we're also out of a car deal.
Exactly right. That's how we win against these scammers.
If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and share so people don't fall for this very stupid trick. Until next time, stay smart, stay informed, and never get ripped off.
For those of you who would like more information on our car buying service, check out our website, thehomeworkguy.com, or just send me a text today with your questions, 701-441-3399, and I'm happy to let you know. And I'm happy to answer your questions. Our hassle-free car buying service starts with a call with the main man of our show, Mr. Kevin Hunter. He takes time out of his busy day to talk directly to every interested fan from our show and ask good questions to make sure that you're a good fit for our service. If you're not a good fit, he'll give you great advice on how to go about it on your own. And yes, the man we started with all of this, Stuart, is still a great big part of our team. So if you want to have a direct conversation with Kevin about all of this, get connected with us today.
I look forward to taking your call. The honest truth about our car buying service is that it isn't for everybody, but the majority of people I approve of on the phone call will make it across the finish line as a very happy customer. I love that. In every case, we saved everyone the hassle of negotiating with multiple dealers. We do it, so you don't have to.
Yep.
And we save them money off the total cost of the vehicle. Our return on investment is the best there is. In return, those who hired us have shown their gratitude with very generous tips to our coaches and are out there referring us to family and friends. To us, that's the best kind of compliment we could ever receive. If you found today's video helpful, remember to give us that great big thumbs up, share it with friends, and leave a comment down below. And remember, friends, we talked about this recently in a show titled, There's Only 2 Reasons to Visit a Dealership. If you don't know what those 2 reasons are, go back and check it out now. Also, if you have any difficulty whatsoever navigating our website, but you'd like help from one of our car coaches when buying a car, either new or used, EV or ICE vehicle, doesn't matter to us. Feel free to text us at 701-441-3399. Liz will hook you up.
Remember to not only visit our website, thehomeworkguy.com, but join us on Facebook too. Kevin stops in there almost on a daily basis to interact with our viewers. The Homework Guy team is always here to represent you, the car buyer. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in our next video.
To all of you long-term subscribers out there, you guys rock. God bless you all. I'm Kevin Hunter, the Homework Guy, signing off on behalf of Alex Stevens, our auto expert, the amazing Elizabeth, our negotiation genius, and the entire hassle-free Homework Guy team we have working behind the scenes. We'll see you next time right here on the Homework Guy Show. Stay tuned as we scroll through some of our hassle-free car buying reviews. You can also read them on our website, thehomeworkguy.com. Thank you for listening.